Hello and welcome to Raboni Catholic Community. This is the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time. It is Valentine's weekend and it is Super Bowl weekend. I don't have a team. I'm not cheering for anybody just yet, but because I don't know much about the Super Bowl anyway. But anyway, happy Super Bowl Sunday. It's on this sixth Sunday of Ordinary Time. I'm gonna keep it very brief because I want you to consider something, right? Um, I remember a very long time ago when I first watched a movie called The Ten Commandments. I'm sure most of you have seen that story that Hollywood told about the emancipation of the people of Israel from Egypt into the promised land of Canaan. One of the things that impressed upon me in doing that movie is the whole scene where Moses goes up the mountain to receive the Ten Commandments, and God comes, covers Mount Sinai with with clouds and thunder and lightning, and God speaks to Moses as Moses chisels out the Ten Commandments. Then Moses comes down, of course, he gives the commandments to the people, and I think there was like they had already done the whole golden calf thing where he's mad and he breaks the commandments, but he remember the commandments and when they are written on a tablet. Um, and I had somehow in my mind that that is how we came to have the commandments. Then I went into seminary and things changed a wee bit. Chances that God came down the mountain and spoke to Moses in a loud, deep voice are very, very slim. So how did they come up with the commandments? One of the theories that we studied in seminary is that the commandments are saying something to the people of Israel. They're saying this one, they're saying this. You are not the Egyptians. What does that mean? It means that Moses and the leaders, they took the Egyptian experience as a foil upon which they were going to build a new community. So everything that was wrong about Egypt is made right in the new Israelite. For example, one way of saying that we are not the Egyptians is the Egyptians had many gods. They had the god of the sunrise, god of the sunset, god of fire, god of water, god of this and god of that. For the Israelite community, there is one God. See the opposites? In the Egyptian experience, they would call upon the names of their gods, swear upon the names of their gods, left, right, and center. In the new Israelite experience, they won't even name the name of God. In the Egyptian experience, the slaves, they worked every single day. There was no day of rest. Do you really think that God rested on the seventh day? Does God run out of energy? The rest is really not for God, it's for the people. So the slaves in Egypt, they work every day, no day time for rest. In the new Israelite, you shall work for 6 days, and on the seventh day, you shall rest. Again, giving a break to the slaves. What is the one thing that was broken in Egypt? It is the family unit. There is no respect for father, mother. The whole family unit is broken in the Egyptian experience. In the Israelite experience, the new community, honor your father and your mother. The family unit is restored. Again, look at the opposites. In the Egyptian experience, life is cheap. They can, they can be killed at command. They can be murdered. In the new community, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal, because in this other experience that was commonplace. So it is more like, actually think about the idea of the United States. What does the idea of the United States, what are the founders of the country saying? They are simply saying, we are not the British. So while the British have their kings and queens, in the United States they say, nope, we shall elect our representatives. Again, the founders used the European experience to build a new nation. what happens over time is that, especially when you get into the book of Leviticus, when you look at the prophets, actually, to boil it down, there are over 600 commandments. Commandments around commandments. Now, again, we are exploring this idea of the commandment. Why were they given the commandments? The Torah, the 5 books, Torah, the etymology of Torah is yara, and yara is borrowed from archery. It means hitting the bullseye. So the commandments are meant to help the people hit the bullseye, and the bullseye is living like God. What happens then with the people is that instead of the commandments being a helpful tool to see God in each other, the commandments somehow were tainted because there are over 600 of them. It became very, very fuzzy. By the time Jesus comes around, he is absolutely frustrated with religion. And he says this: make sure you do not become like the Pharisees and the scribes. And the question that we ask ourselves as we head to the gospel is, am I like the Pharisee and the scribe? What frustrates Jesus about the Pharisees and the scribes is that they adhere to the letter of the law, and they have completely forgotten about the spirit of the law. To be like God, the law is to guide us into right living. So for example, they say, thou shalt not kill. Of course, that is the least that they can do. They can absolutely destroy your lives. Remember where Jesus is. He's up the mountain, right? And he has gathered with himself, or to himself, or around himself, the sinners, the tax collectors, the lepers. And he's saying to the Pharisees and the scribes, yeah, you have not killed the lepers, the sinners, and the tax collectors. But he looks at the leper and he says, are you truly alive? Is this person truly alive if you cannot allow this person to be with his family? And so Jesus says, killing is... Make sure your virtue goes beyond that of the Pharisees and the scribes. If you harbor within your own heart hatred, you have killed somebody. In fact, maybe you have killed yourself. So he invites you and I to dig deeper, understand the law, but go beyond. And when we do that, there is a freedom to it. Not everybody is tense. I remember the first days of my priestly life when I would write down every single word I'm going to say, and I'm going to stick to that script, which is discipline. It is okay. But when you know the spirit of the Gospels, you can use the written words as a guide, but you're not tied to it, such that sometimes you have to raise your head and see, where are the people? Where is the leper? Where is the person who is divorced? Where is the person who has HIV/AIDS? Or do they feel welcome? Do they feel included? You have heard it said, but I say to you, catch the spirit of the law. Right, last week we talked about this. We said, it is like the Sunday obligation. If you and I do not understand the Sunday obligation, we will come to church and we will be bitter about it. And everybody is going to feel it. I had a call a couple weeks ago of somebody who said, Father, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it to Mass. I was with my mother at hospice. And I said, you were exactly where God needed you to be. Yes, you and I have an obligation to attend Mass. But if we do it out of obligation, we have absolutely and totally missed the mark and committed a sin. Remember, sin is simply missing the mark. So today, to all those who struggle, catch the Spirit. So today, to all those who have questions, catch the Spirit. This is the 6th Sunday in Ordinary Time. God bless you.